Welcome back to Double Fries, No Slaw. TJ Pittenger, Richie Barnes here talking about the name of Doak Campbell possibly changing. I was told about this several months ago and was kind of told like, don't say anything here. But I did see this past week or so, Brendan Sonnone put a report out that the Florida State was in conversations with a potential sponsor for Doak Campbell Stadium. We'll talk more about that in a second. But Richie, how does that initially strike you? Are you for that? Are you against that? You remember a couple of years ago when they had the McDonald's arches outside of the on the backside of the Jumbotron? Everybody lost their minds. How does that news that they may, and now they're not changing Doak Campbell, right? Like it's not going to be a new name. There was the whole idea of like, oh, well, should we change the name because of some stuff he had done in the past? Like that's not going away. But how would you feel just in general about adding a sponsor to the name?
I'm all for it. 100% for it. I've been saying this for years. You know, why not go get Publix or another Florida-based company to come sponsor or have the naming rights to the stadium? I think it's a phenomenal idea because you're bringing in revenue. And, if we've learned anything these past 3-4 years, college football has always been a business, but it is more now than ever. So I think it's a phenomenal idea. If they can get something signed, I'd be all for it. And I cannot think of a better partner to have the naming rights than the Hard Rock, which is owned by the Seminole tribe of Florida. I am a 100% in favor of this, and I hope it gets done.
Yeah, no, I think it's probably the best partner, right? You think about like the Publix's, you think about Guthrie's or just anything like that. Like, all those would be fine. But I think the one thing that people would freak out the least, and people will freak out about this one way or the other, right? Like they're still not over the fact that we changed the logo, and probably will never be. But I do think that the one thing that would be tied close enough to the FSU brand, like you think about like, Ben Hill Griffin, right? Whatever they tie to that. Now, what would make sense for them is like Gatorade or something like that. Not to give them any ideas, but like to me, like the Ben Hill Griffin Stadium presented by Gatorade or something like that would be something that would like ease their concerns, right? Of like a naming sponsor. But if you just put like, now we all like Publix, right? If you just put Publix on it, like that feels a little like, all right, well, that's kind of, that's kind of cheap, right? Or you put Target on it or Walmart or something like that. Yeah. It doesn't. But if you do it with the Hard Rock and you do it with the Seminole tribe and you have that brand partnership, it just makes so much sense. Like to me, that one is like a slam dunk out, like ball out of the ballpark home run. Like that one makes way too much sense. And again, eventually, now I don't know how soon. I think eventually everyone's going to do this, right? Everyone is eventually going to have a stadium that is presented by XYZ. It's already starting to happen some places. Obviously, a lot of your pro stadiums already have it. Like, Raymond James is named Raymond James for that reason. But you think about Miami, you think about like that, like they play at Hard Rock Stadium because of the Dolphins have that partnership. So it's not like Hard Rock's unfamiliar with doing this. I do think this would be a slam dunk. And if you were able to get kind of what's been reported of, in excess of $10 million a year, if, there's even reports out that they may front load that to kind of help you out until you get into a new conference, and you could have that deal be kind of a lasting partnership. First of all, if you could get ahead of the curve, I think everybody's going to do this within 5-6 years, I would think, because of the revenue that you need in college athletics to continue to build a winner and have a successful program. If you get 2 or 3 years ahead of this, if you're the first one that gets to benefit off of it, that's huge to me. And so I do think that would be huge for FSU. They have always done more with less. There's no doubt about it. They have the least in the Big Three. They have the least amount of financial resources of all three schools. And for them to even just get a 2-3 year jump on this and be bringing in, if they were 3 years ahead of another school, another $30 million, right, to kind of combat what they're having to fight. Not only do they do less with more by being a newer program, not being a private university like Miami, not having just insane booster support like Florida and other places, they're also doing it in ACC. And we've talked a lot about that revenue disparity and how they're not making money there. To me, it checks all boxes. I would have no issues with this. I wouldn't complain about it at all. Some fans will, absolutely. We'll get comments that are like, man, you can't change the name. I think when you understand that, yes, I would love if we all just played this sport for the love of the game. And we were talking earlier about all the things that we have and we wear that are garnet and gold and all of that, right? Yeah, I would love if that's how altruistic all these kids were. They're not, right? At the end of the day, you're to win championships, you got to spend more money. You want to win, you want to go out and compete, you want to make the playoff, you want to have a good program. It's all about money, right? And it's always been about money when you think about facilities and coaching and staffs and training and nutrition and things like that. But now it is just so much more about money than it has ever been. And any advantage that we can get to increase that revenue, I'm all for it. All right, I'll get right back to the video, but first, we are giving away 2 tickets to the Alabama FSU game. No purchase necessary. We just need your name and info so that we can get you the tickets. We're partnering with our friends over at T1RX. You can go to www.t1rx.com/pages/FSU Bama Ticks. I know that's a lot. It is down below me. It's also in the description. Enter your info. We will give away 2 tickets to that game. You can double your chances to win if you sign up for any kind of a consultation with Emerald Medical. Links to do that on the page as well. But again, no catch, no purchase necessary. Go enter to win 2 tickets to the FSU Alabama game, and hopefully we will see you out there.
Yeah, and that's not changing anytime soon. If anything, it's only going to get worse. I truly think, we're going to be at some point where a certain number of universities are going to pull away from the NCAA and have their own essentially NFL farm system, which is basically what college football is right now. But I just think it's a smart idea. I do wonder, if there's any board members that want to hold out just because it is associated with gambling. But however, I wouldn't be shocked if in 5 years from now, you can gamble on games in every college stadium in the country. I'm pretty sure in Florida, they'd be all for it. We are definitely huge supporters of the Seminole Tribe of Florida, and that goes for fans of all schools. I don't think, I think even Gator and Hurricane fans would say they support the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Most people I know that live here now use the Hard Rock Sports Bet app. That's what they're betting on, because you're not having to go through, some of these offshore websites or anything anymore. You can literally just do it from your phone and get paid out instantly. I know, fact check me on this, but I'm pretty sure Kentucky last year signed a deal with Albertsons to be their main sponsor. I think it was them. I think it was Albertsons, but I know what either Louisville or Kentucky, one of them did it. And to your point, get ahead of the curve on this. If you get this signed and say you're 2 years ahead of everybody else in the ACC, well, that's essentially $20 million more you just brought in than anyone else in the ACC based on that alone. So I just think it'd be foolish not to. And I get the traditionalists would want to say, no, we're not going to sell ourselves out. It's not selling yourself out. It's making your program stronger financially, which is what you need. Do you love this new section of Doak Campbell Stadium? Well, okay, guess what helped get that money? Do you love this football-only facility that's going to be opening up in the next year or so? Yeah, it takes money. And if Hard Rock, and you can partner with the Seminole Tribe, which Florida State already partners with the Seminole Tribe of Florida. They have a great relationship. It just makes perfect sense for me. I hope it gets done.
Yeah, I mean, they're selling themselves out. Do you realize how many ads you watch when you go to a game? Probably not because you're drinking too much, but man, everything from the Guthrie's Red Zone, or the what's the big law firm up there that the more Scott and Wallace drive of the game, and everything they do ends up being brought to you by somebody, right? Every first down is this, and every touchdown is this, and when they get in the red zone is this, and look around the stadium, those LED, or not LED, but those the banners around the stadium, the video boards and stuff, the small ones, they're all just running ads the whole game. And do you want to take all that away, right? Do you not want the university to have any kind of revenue coming in from that? So yeah, I'm a big fan. Did you see, I didn't have this on my notes, but do you see LSU is doing jersey patches? Would you have a problem with that? I mean, my answer to that is also no. I don't, the most successful soccer leagues in the world have a jersey, like Barcelona's is Rakuten, or well, no, it's something else now, but one of those, Airways or something. But would you have a problem with that?
Not at all. Absolutely not. Look, every NBA team has it now. At the Orlando Magic, my friends bought me a John Isaac jersey and it has the Disney patch on it. I have no problem with that whatsoever. And I get people would get upset, mainly the older fans who have, are kind of set in their ways, so to speak. And I feel like I'm that way sometimes. But when it comes to bringing in more money for my university to improve the product that I get to see on the field, I have no problem with that. Give me a jersey patch. I don't know who we would use from Tallahassee, but I don't care. Put a Disney patch on there. There's a lot of Florida State alum in Orlando. Uh, Product is better. People will pay more because you're on television. Florida State, even with a horrible year last year, they have a lot to sell in terms of eyeballs that tune in to watch their games. And if, you know, Tommy scrambles for a touchdown and they zoom in on him and they see, a Mickey Mouse logo or something, guess what? That's a lot of money. That's free advertising. It's not free because they'd be paying for it. But no, I have no problem with the patches on the jersey either.
Yeah, no, I'm all for it. It's
Or me,
Spotify that Barcelona has, but yeah, you could do it with a similar Hard Rock. You could do it with any major brand, Publix. Again, I don't care if they wear purple jerseys, which some of those Garnets in like the mid 2010s kind of were. But yeah, I don't care what they wear. I just want to win games, right? Like
yeah.
I understand, like we love the colors and we love the logo and we hate the logo and we like the old unit, whatever, right? I don't really care. I want to see them win games. If throwing a patch on the jersey on the side, she ripped that stupid ACC one off and put Publix on top of that. Like that, I think that'd probably be the way to unite everybody. But or make the ACC one like really small, like on the back where you can't see it. So, tuck the ACC part in. But yeah, no, I mean, who cares, right? Like if it's more money, I'm all for it. I saw LSU fans have mixed thoughts on that. They were the first ones to do that. Look, they're making money off that this year, right? And other teams aren't. So I'm all for it. If the most successful leagues in the world can do this, we can do it too. So, thoughts on the possible renaming of Doak Campbell Stadium, possible partnership with the Seminole Tribe of Florida? Let's hear that in the comments. I would love to argue with people that are enraged. So I'll make Harlan do that. If you're mad, make sure you direct all your comments to Harlan. If you like the idea of more money, then, comment towards me. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll talk to you soon. Go Noles.